back there? Steve, are you there? Yeah. Okay, just checking. Hello. Hello. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Is Jamie on? Is Jamie on? Hey Steve, do I need to mute the computer by the TV? Because I'm getting an echo. Do I need to do it? What's that? We're getting that feedback again. Do I need to mute that? I can do it. I didn't put the jack back. It's fine. I don't know what you do with that. So when I talk, is that better? That's, I guess. Testing. Hello? Hello? It's still there, so.
Oh, that might be me.
Really?
Okay,
it is.
It's
Around myself.
Jim, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now shut up.
Still waiting on several members. So good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. I don't see Mr. Belmont yet. That's what I'm looking for. I think I see a couple of Terrys. Is one of those Terry Lawson?
I'm checking.
Thank you.
I was unable to verify that.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on.
Terry Lawson, are you on the call?
Are you on the call? Are you on the Zoom? Okay, let me get you there. Are you looking for the link? Okay. It's, can you get to our website? If you go to the district website and go under, on the front, you'll see the calendar, you'll see the event, and then click on that, and then it'll show you the link. So if you go to the website, special board meeting for general business practice, click on that. And then it'll take you to like a calendar page, and then on that it says join Zoom meeting. Just copy and paste that in there and it'll take you to it. You just go to our website homepage. Click on, you'll see down the bottom, you'll see board meeting. Click on that and then it's right there. Just copy and paste that web address in the line thing.
Jamie,
Yes, Mr. Graves.
Ms. Lawson says she's on.
Thank you. I still don't see Mr. Belmont.
I'm getting Mr. I'm on the phone now with Belmont. He's getting on now.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Give them a few minutes.
Apologies to everyone for the delay.
You see it? Yeah. I disabled the waiting room so you can just join.
Just a reminder to everyone, when you're not speaking, please mute your phone or device. Board members, is there anyone who doesn't have access to board docs?
Do you have access to Board Docs? Mike does.
Mike Belmont, he's getting on there.
Okay. Members, we will be voting this evening, so if you can log into board docs, we can vote electronically. That would be ideal. Is that an issue for anyone?
Okay. You sure? Let's stay on until you get on. I'm good. We're just waiting for you. Mike Belmont is getting on. Is this slow? So it says running security scan or something. I'm not sure which one it is. Getting it.
That gives him a hard time, maybe trying
It
to
says,
browser.
he says it's still connecting.
Wow.
No, let me put on speaker. Go ahead, you're on, I'm with Steve. Yeah.
What's up, Steve?
Hell, not too much. How you doing?
Okay, it's thinking I've connected. I got
Okay.
the wrong special.
All right, I think I see everyone now. That being the case, Mr. Harris, are you ready to begin?
Mike, are you in?
Okay.
It's
Okay.
I'm on the for
Okay, so Mike Belmont's home. is
Okay, so
in.
Mike Belmont's almost
Okay,
in.
getting on. I have him
Okay,
on my phone.
getting on. I have him on my phone.
Okay. I see him. I don't know that he has audio at this point.
Okay. Mike, do you have audio?
Okay,
have audio?
I should. I don't have the red tab one, so I should.
Okay.
I clicked on start video, but that circle's gone.
Okay.
See, the problem is, Jim, I give the computer and I take the old one. And,
can we start?
you know,
Okay,
Okay, we're gonna
All right.
start now, okay? Okay,
I think we are all ready.
yes.
Good evening, everyone. Apologies for our delay, technical issues. But I call to order this special legislative meeting for July 28th, 2020 for the Woodland Hills School Board. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Graves,
Present.
Ms. Seligson,
Present.
Ms. Lawson,
She's here.
thank you. Ms. Curry,
Present.
Mr. Belmont,
He's here.
Here.
Ms. Scott, here. Ms. Hodge, here. Ms. Glasser.
President. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
There's a lawyer, we need a lawyer. Second,
To the flag.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God. You guys are enough to know all. That's boring, joke.
All right.
Shut up.
Just a reminder, if you are on the call, please mute your phone. You're not.
You're weird. Over some queer guys on TV. Fucking weird.
Okay, I just muted everyone. So Ms. Glasser, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Okay. There are no minutes to accept this evening, and the board has not met in executive session since our last meeting. Mr. Harris, do you have announcements?
The only
The only announcement I have is to wish everyone a safe return back to school. Stay healthy, stay safe. Please follow all health and safety guidelines. We want everyone back in school in August, and please stay safe.
Back in school. Okay, anyone else have announcements, board members? Okay, hearing none. We will not have student speakers this evening. Mr. Harris, are you going to present the plan at this time?
Yes.
Yeah. Board matters, correct?
We have board matters, we can get there. I wasn't sure we didn't talk about what time, when you wanted to present the plan. We can do it now during presentations, or we can do it during board matters.
We can talk about it through
Board matters. Well, we can approve the first. I can do the first. Okay, so the district, along with many community members, health professionals, county health professionals, medical professionals, our nursing staff, our teachers, union members, all those who are interested, we met over the course of the last few weeks to put together a return to school plan for the district. Those meetings involved anyone who wanted to be involved. We heard many different perspectives, and what we have on the agenda tonight under 2.2 is the phased school reopening health and safety plan. To keep it simple, the district will go back to school on an adjusted timeline, meaning we will go back to school online for about 99% of our students at 30-day increments. We will reassess every 30 days, and depending on the level of COVID positive diagnosis, will determine when we return. For the plan, we are looking at 14 days of negative diagnosis. So if we have 14 consistent days, which shows that the virus is slowly deciding from the county, we will bring students back on an adjusted AB schedule. That AB schedule would be Monday and Thursday, and then Tuesday and Friday. But before we do that, we will go back to school. 99% of our students will go back to school online only. So we will ask teachers to return to the buildings, and they will teach out of their classrooms. The majority of teachers, we will have cameras and microphones set up in the classrooms that the teachers control with no students in those classes. Once again, and then students will be able to log in through either a personal device or a district-provided device to view lessons that their teachers are doing either live or recorded. Teachers will work their normal day for the most part when possible, and students can view the lessons live, or if students have to get on at various other times, lessons will be recorded. It will be out curriculum, unlike in the spring where we use Edgenuity and OdysseyWare. This will be our own curriculum. Once we go back to school, or when we go back to school, we will offer the option of the flexible schedule, the AB schedule, and also if students or families were uncomfortable with coming back to the building, they could go strictly online, just continuing what we're doing now. So we're offering those options. So a student, once we go back, can say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable, they can stay at home and they can continue on the course that they've been already set upon, or they could join their classmates and come back to school on the alternate day schedule. Are there any questions? Or am I supposed to not take questions? Sorry. So that's the plan in a nutshell. 100% online, well, 99% online. We will be looking at a small group of students who have specific learning requirements that doesn't really work for them to be online. That's at 1 or 2%, maybe more, that we will be addressing through our special ed department, and then they will have various provisions set in place where they will return to the building for their education, their instruction.
Okay. Rather than taking board questions at this time, I think we can do board discussion when we get to the tab.
Okay.
Unless there's more on the presentation, we can move on if that's okay. Any board members object to that? Okay. Hearing none, I don't have any registered speakers.
Sorry, Jamie, are we supposed to be logged in, or are we going to do voice calls for voting?
I was hoping for it electronically.
Okay.
If it's not possible, we can go by roll call. Okay, I don't see any registered speakers.
That's correct.
Okay, given the nature of the matter at hand, the largest matter at hand, is the board amenable to moving public comment to allow for folks to speak before our vote on this?
Yes.
Any objection to that? Okay. Hearing no objection to that, we'll open the floor for public comment. Speakers will have 2 minutes, should identify themselves by first and last name, place of residence, or employment. If you are able, please employ the raise hand function so that we can call on you to speak on this matter. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? Okay. I'm not seeing anyone. Okay.
I see a hand. Janice?
Yes.
Okay. Please identify yourself, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Janice Bonner. What I was wondering about is what is going to be happening with our tech kids? Has any decisions been made upon that, how they're going to be transported? if there's still going to be those technical classes, or anything that's going to happen with that.
Mr. Harris, given the nature of this, I think it's appropriate to answer questions. Are you able to speak on that, or can we respond?
Forbes Road, are you asking about Forbes Road students?
Yes.
Okay. We've already met with the Forbes Road Center. We'll be setting up transportation for the students once we start school, because they're going back full time. So instead of the students going into the high school and leaving, they'll be leaving from their home, setting up transportation. We've already discussed with them a couple of weeks ago about that. So we're still having the program. So instead of taking the bus into the high school, the bus will be picking them up at a stop close to their home. Does that answer the question? Sorry.
It does, but I also, is there somebody that I can speak with? Because I have a kind of a particular situation. And is there somebody that I can contact during the day or something to discuss this?
Is it a transportation question, or is it a programming situation at that location?
My son will be doing 2 programs at the location and coming back to the high school, per se, under an IEP. So he'll be doing multimedia and culinary, and then coming back for the last 2 classes of the day.
Okay. He would not be coming back to, most likely not coming back to the high school.
Right, that's fine.
So he'll be driven from home to school, school to home.
Okay.
But if you'd like to call my office tomorrow, just call my office tomorrow, and I can put you in touch with whoever you need to speak with. Most likely.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. The next hand that I see is Galaxy S10e. I'll need you to identify yourself by name, please. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, my name is Barton Zimmerman. I have a daughter that is going into the 3rd grade. What I'm wondering is where we're getting the scientific basis behind closing schools when Sweden's been in school for over a month now with no cases, okay? There is no transmission from child to adult that has been recorded around the world, 0 cases of that. The minimal of a child getting this is the minimal of a very mild cold, if that. Over 1,000 children died of influenza last year. We did not close our schools then. So why are we closing our schools now? Are we going to have 22-year-old seniors in high school? Is that what we're looking for? Are we defunding our schools now? The last online, did we send our teachers to online class? Do they know how to teach online and being effective to the student? Over 800,000 people in Pennsylvania have no wideband internet. What is that in Braddock? How does that look there? Are we going to leave them children behind without having school? Are we not providing a place of education? That is your job to provide a safe place of education. And you're not doing it by scientific basis. You're doing an ideology of your political views. And it's not, there's no science based behind not having school right now. And I want you guys to really look at the aspects of what are you doing to children right now? You're keeping them from school. Their social development, their educational development is out the window. And you have the power to change that. Why are you going against science and medical advice? There's no reason to shut the schools down, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. Are there others who wish to address the board? Ms. Miller.
Hi, Ms. Glasser. So my name is Katie Miller. I'm a music and performing arts teacher for the district. I just wanted to see what the cleaning procedures, and I know we probably touched base on this on the earlier meetings, but now that we're doing like a Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday situation, how will the buildings be cleaned Monday evening before? I know that Wednesday will be deep cleaning, but I'm assuming that students will have to share desks once, like the A students come in, and then the B students will probably be using the same desks, or maybe they won't. But I need some clarification on that. And so I just wanted to put that one out there.
On the cleaning, we can alternate desks. The reason why we're doing the split day or split schedule is to only have half the students in. So what we can do, what we're looking at doing, is not using the same desk 2 days in a row. That will allow us to have 24 hours of cleaning in between students using those desks. I'm sorry, you asked about cleaning. So we have the materials, we have I'm told they're not chemicals, they are solutions that will work with COVID. And if there is a positive case within the classroom, we're able to do I guess it's called a bomb in that room and shut it down for 24 hours. But once again, we will not bring students back until the COVID levels are at a much decreased level for the safety of our teachers and staff. And if anyone is asking, the reason why we are doing this is for the safety of our teachers and staff. Our teachers do a great job, and they need to be put in a safe environment, not to put them at risk, and a lot of them take care of older family members.
You know what they're saying?
Illnesses or ailments.
There's no cases of child passing it to an adult.
Mr. Zimmerman,
I just muted everyone again, Ms. Clark. So we are just taking the safest precaution possible for our staff. That's all. So you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Indeed. Okay. I don't, Ms. Rosen.
Yes, hello. My name is Lynn Rosen. I work at the University of Pittsburgh. My question was, what is happening on that Wednesday day? I know there had been some discussion a couple of meetings ago that Wednesday there would still be online instruction, even though there wouldn't be, when we go back to the AB schedule, even though students wouldn't physically be in the classroom. Is that still the plan? Thank you.
Yes, it is. We're also looking at providing some extra support for our teachers on that day also. Because once again, our teachers have to get accustomed to coming back to work also, and there's some support that we need to provide for them. So that's the day also we're going to be providing some counseling services, some other supports for our teachers to come in and talk through any issues or concerns that they have that we can address.
Okay. I don't see any other hands raised at the moment, but there is a question that was posed by someone who doesn't have a microphone from Jamie Stoffel. Mr. Harris, she's asking whether kids will be in school 5 days a week. I think that may have just been answered to Rose's question. But initially it'll be online 5 days, and then when we go back to a hybrid, it will be still 5 days of instruction, 2 in person and 3 online. Is that correct?
Yes, the students who are not in the building physically will still be able
Yes.
to.
Yes, the students who are not in the building physically will still be able to view the class online through lessons that the teachers are doing. So it isn't like half the kids in the class virtually. And also the same as the students who will not come back at all, who want to stay virtually, they'll still be in the same cohort.
Okay. I have a question which hand raised from.
Someone tests positive.
Go ahead.
If someone tests positive in school, okay. If it's a teacher or an employee, they'll be placed in the nurse's office. We have a isolation area, which the nurses in the buildings have identified, and they will. We will have tests available. So I know there has to be 2 tests within 24 or 48 hours. We can make the self-test that they can do themselves for the first test. And this is if they don't feel well, because we're not going to be able to test them negative or positive in school if they just don't feel well and they have symptoms. They'll be asked to go to a medical provider. If a student falls ill, they can also administer the self-test in school. They'll be in the isolation room, and a parent or guardian will pick them up. In that isolation room, we can shut it down for 24 hours. Once again, do the deep cleaning or the bomb, and use another room to isolate. And if does the school close or the kids have to stay home? Okay, the school will not close.
okay? But the students will have to stay home if they're been around someone who's test positive. They should stay home for at least 14 days. But the whole school will not close.
Audra has a hand up as well. Please give your first and last name, place of residence or employment, and your questions.
I'm sorry, I did not mute myself. My name is Audra Hamlet. My place of residence is Shellfront. And it's not a question, it's a comment. I feel like the school district is doing an excellent job with all of this. Out of all the different school districts, the only ones that I see really leading the pack at this point are Pittsburgh Public and Woodland Hills with a comprehensive plan on what to do, how to do it, and when it will get done. So I think you all are going above and beyond with the circumstances you've been dealt. And I understand everyone's not going to be happy, but at the end of the day, everybody's health has to be put before what anybody else's agenda or feelings are. And I just appreciate what you all are doing, and that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have another question in the chat from Kimmy. I don't have a last name, unfortunately. Wouldn't it be better for students to have Group A Monday, Tuesday, then off Wednesday for cleaning, Group B Thursday, Friday to minimize exposure?
But once again, the Wednesday day is also for professional development and support for teachers. It's not going to be the shut the school down and clean it day. The teachers will be in school 5 days a week. The cleaning will be done in between students and at the end of the day when students leave. And then on weekends.
I think the question is more about why Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday versus Monday, Tuesday.
We looked at many different
setups for that. It was felt to have the students more touches or contact with the kids face-to-face with the teacher. We looked at maybe 1 week on, but those would be long gaps. So we didn't want to have such a long. And when we came down to it, we agreed on what we're presenting now. Jamie, you're going to unmute yourself again.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see any additional comments in the chat or hands raised. I'll give about 30 seconds to see if anyone else wishes to comment. Okay, seeing no additional public comment, we are going to move into board matters. We will no longer be responding to the chat and move into the agenda items for consideration by the board. Mr. Harris.
Okay. Board Matters 2.1.
Okay. Board Matters 2.1. We seek for the Board of Directors to declare the COVID-19 pandemic as an emergency within the meaning of Section 520.1 of the Pennsylvania School Code and approval of Resolution 553.20.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that Ms. Hodge? Second by Ms. Hodge. Okay. Any questions or discussion on the emergency declaration? This is board members only, please.
I have a question. Is this just formality to receive any type of emergency funding in the future from the state?
Mr. Vogel?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Mr. Graves.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board members?
I have a couple questions. Just in the beginning where you're selecting the options.
Ms. Curry, this is not the plan yet. This is the resolution for the emergency declaration.
Oh, sorry.
Any questions on that? Okay. Seeing no additional questions on the emergency declaration, I have a motion by Mr. Belmont and a second by Ms. Hodge. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Gray,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 2.2.
Okay,
2.2.
we seek permission to accept.
We seek permission to accept the 2020-2021 phase school reopening health and safety plan.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion? Ms. Curry, I believe you had some.
Yes, sorry, I muted myself again. Yes. I was just gonna pull it up so I could.
Can I have your patient's name,
Okay, yeah, page 4. The type of reopening, just the different levels. Could you explain that, Mr. Harris, to make sure that we have the correct one selected? It just seems like with the August 24th start that we are starting the hybrid model right off the bat. So.
Yes. Well, what we're doing, the main plan is the AB schedule side of the plan. If there was another box that said other, I would have checked other, but we're not going 100% online. So we're starting off super conservative. And what we're doing is that's why we're going online, and then we're going into the hybrid model. So that's why that one was chosen. There really wasn't one specifically closer to what we were doing, but that was the closest. And if I could have written in other and then explained what we were doing, but that's a state template, and that's what I had to pick one of those. I'm sure it's for their survey reasons or some sort of record keeping that they're doing at the state level.
Kind of leads into my next question. Was it ever looked at to have options like Pittsburgh Public is doing, where there are families that would choose the AB schedule right off the bat, and there's families that would be 100% virtual right from the start?
Not from the start. Our start is super conservative because we feel, we're not medical experts, but we have medical experts on the panels that feel that there's going to be a surge once all these thousands of students leave their homes, thousands of teachers leave their homes and go join each other in buildings. So to protect our staff and our students, we are going to go back online for the majority of our students. And we feel that maybe in 2 or 3 months, we're going to have to shut down, just like we did back in March. So to avoid that disruption, we're going to go conservative, look at it month by month, and stay online. If the cases subside and it's safer to go out and our teachers will be safe and our staff will be safe, then we're going to slowly bring students back. So we're going to go back. We're just going back at a slower pace than others are. We didn't want to rush into it. So then we will have the option of 100% online or the AB flex day schedule or a mixture of the two. We have that. We're just going about it in a slower pace than others are doing it.
And I've looked, I've looked at another, quite a few actual, the hybrid plans, the back to school plans, and it seems like they are mostly all doing, group A is Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday everyone's home, and group B is Thursday, Friday. If that would make parents feel more comfortable, is that something we could consider as opposed to?
Everything is on the table, but once again, we looked at getting kids as frequently as possible in front of their teachers. And those longer gaps, we felt academically would hurt our students by keeping those longer gaps.
And this plan is something that can change.
Oh yes, everything on there is dependent upon something else. Like if we leave here today and the cases drop off, we could go back sooner. We don't know when we're going to go back physically into the building at all this school year. If we hit a surge around Halloween or before that, that may carry us through to the spring. So we wanted to be prepared for that. If that does not occur, we can go back by October 1. But we don't know that. And I didn't want to put any dates or timelines in there because when we tried to do that back in March, as you saw, we're out for 10 days, we're out for 15 days, coming back May 1st, May 20th, and then we never came back. So learning from past experience, we're going to go super conservative and err on the side of caution and start off online because we feel that many of these schools, in their rush to go back, will have to shut down. And if we're wrong, I'd rather err on the side of caution and not have many people exposed to the virus than spend an extra week online.
Anything else, Ms. Curry? Okay. Other questions from board members?
I have a question, Ms. Glasser. Mr. Harris, I had, excuse me. Mr. Harris, I had an opportunity to look over the plan, and through the process of creating this plan, I've been very critical of exactly how you would come about in starting our school year, opening it up to the building, to our teachers and our students, and all of the above. And I want to say, I really think this is a really good comprehensive plan. I think you've done a really good job on this, you and the staff. And I think it's something that, you know, I think it is conservative and is given thought to our students and also our teachers and our staff when during the implementation of this plan. My one question, I guess, would be if a student has symptoms of COVID, like let's say fevers or something. You mentioned an isolation room. Do you have several isolation rooms that a nurse can have or use to separate students? Because one student may have COVID, and the other one may just have a cold, a common cold. And if you mix the two, then you may be spreading COVID to the second child who only had a common cold and also COVID. So have there been given layers of thought to your isolation process to make sure our kids are separated if there are certain signs, and you may fit the signs, but that doesn't necessarily mean you actually have COVID.
Right. You're right, Mr. Grace, because when we come back to school, it's going to be flu season. So right now, the nurses and I have talked with the principals and the other administrators and looking at one or two primary rooms that we're going to be using. In talking with the nurses, other rooms are going to be identified that can be available. Within those rooms, we have to set up some sort of monitoring system because who's going to monitor those rooms? The nurses have discussed maybe putting baby monitors in the room so they could hear what's going on in that room and communicate back and forth without actually physically being in that room. But once we get started, when kids and students do come back, depending on the level of potential cases that come into the building, we may dedicate a number of areas in each of the buildings as isolation areas. We may even have 3, 4, 5 different rooms. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. But right now, the nurse's office are being retrofitted differently, so they will not come in contact with people face-to-face. The facilities department is designing new nurses stations with a lot of plexiglass and safety areas that the nurses are helping to design to make them safe. But we're really going to rely on the parents who notice that their child is not feeling well in the morning, not to send them to school. We will not be checking the temperature of every student when they walk through the door. However, we will allow students to check themselves when they get into the building if they're feeling ill. And also we'll be working with teachers to help them identify some of the symptoms of a student when they're in the class to identify it right away. And then we escort them down to the isolation room and have a parent or a guardian contacted immediately. Like I said, we will also have, through a service that we're working with, an ability to people to self-test, get that initial test out of the way. So at least when they're leaving, they've already had that first test. We won't know the findings of it yet, but we can jump on it earlier than a parent having to find the location and get them tested. We can test them here at our schools.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from members? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Hawthorne?
Okay. Miss Seligson? Yes. Miss Scott?
Yes.
Miss Lawson?
Yes.
Miss Curry?
Yes.
Miss Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Miss Glasser?
Yes. Thank you all. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 2.3.
Okay, Board Matters 2.3.
Okay, Board Matters 2.3. We seek approval of the 2020-2021 flexible schedule based on the attached emergency instructional time template, section 520.1.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne will take the vote.
Miss Scott?
Yes.
Miss Lawson?
Yes.
Miss Curry?
Yes.
Miss Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Miss Seligson?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Miss Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 7, technology, 7.1.
Okay. Technology 7.1. We seek approval to purchase 100 Wi-Fi hotspots from KJet Verizon with a one-year service plan at a cost of $42,496.82. Funds to come from COVID grants.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this?
I have a question.
Belmont.
Mr. Harris, do you have an idea of how our coverage will be now that we're buying these Wi-Fi hotspots? Are we going to have most of the dead areas covered?
We'll have most. These are portable hotspots about as big as a phone. And we're going to utilize our libraries, and students can check these out and use these. Once we get that covered, we'll have a better idea of students and families who don't have them, but will be available for them to use. It's not the perfect solution. The perfect solution is to have Wi-Fi floating in the air and people can just sign on. But what we're doing is providing these Wi-Fi hotspots at no cost to our families who need to access. And once that happens, we should have a pretty substantial amount of our students and families covered with Wi-Fi.
Thank you.
To clarify, Mr. Harris, this is not, this is not a Wi-Fi network. This is a hotspot that kids take home in their home.
That's a device that they would sit down and they would log in. It was just like if you're going into Bluetooth or Wi-Fi at home, it'll tell you a password, username that you have to get into, and you attach to it.
Okay.
Thanks. Verizon network.
Okay. Other questions?
I have a question, Jamie. We've been on these calls pretty frequently, you and I and some other folks locally, to try to help solve this issue with access to internet. And this figure I'm seeing on the board tab for today is more expensive than anything we had discussed prior. So if Mr. Muter could give a little bit of detail about the breakdown therein, that'd be really great. Thank you.
Sure, I can address that. This package here will provide filtered internet to any student in need. There were some other lower cost alternatives, like providing maybe Comcast to the families, but this is unfiltered internet, and according to SIPA, the Children's Internet Protection Act, we cannot provide unfiltered internet. So with this Khajiit, I feel it was the most wisest choice, and we can have this, we can hit the ground running with these devices and at least be able to provide our families in need with a source of internet. And we can still continue with our end goal, but I'm gonna need this to get going.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That clarifies my concerns. Thanks, Mr. Muter.
Other questions from members?
So this is Steve, yes. So it's $424 a unit?
Per year, I believe.
A unit per year. Okay.
It boils down to like $35 per user per month.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, let's take the vote.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. 7.2.
Technology 7.2. We seek approval to purchase 350 desktop document cameras at a cost of $34,650 from IPEVO. Funding to come from COVID grants.
There a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Yes. Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this item? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, let's take the vote.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 7.3.
Technology 7.3. We seek approval to purchase 350 wireless microphones at a cost of $19,946 from Amazon. Funding to come from COVID grants.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, take the vote.
Okay. Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson? Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 7.4.
Technology 7.4. we seek approval to purchase a desktop management system for our remote learners at a cost of $17,360.89 from Sargent Laboratories, funding to come from COVID grants.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Clark. Any questions or discussion?
What is this for?
Mr. Muter?
This will allow our teachers to be able to have a way to better manage our remote learning. This will work outside the district as well as inside the district. Teachers will be able to, for instance, run a PowerPoint. What they would do is create a class, put all of their students in that class. They could run a PowerPoint presentation and it will instantly appear on all the students' screens. There's no way they can get out. They have to watch it. They have to pay attention. There's a lot of other tools that will help the teachers be able to keep the kids on track and focused on what they're supposed to be learning. It even gives them the ability to do one-on-one screen sharing so the teacher can take their mouse and further instruct them.
Will we still be using Google Classroom? Is this an add-on to that, or?
They'll still be using Google Classroom. This is just a way for them to help the kids stay on track and to be able to monitor and make sure that they're doing what they've been tasked to do. We have a similar program that we used inside the district in all of our labs and computers, and teachers loved it. But this program is a little outdated, the one we're using, and it doesn't have the ability to go outside of the district to remotely control them. So this new program can do both.
Okay. Other questions? Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Ms. Hawthorne?
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Ellickson? Yes. Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay. Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 7.5.
Technology 7.5. We seek permission to have our tech coaches return early to prepare training for our teachers, set up Google Classroom, stage laptop and book distribution to families.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr.
Second.
Second by Ms. Seligson. Questions or discussion? Okay. Hearing none. Ms. Hawthorne, take the vote, please.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Ellickson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. And that concludes the agenda, I believe, Mr. Harris. Is that correct?
Yes, that's all.
Okay. Is there any old business? Any new business? Any reports from members? Okay. I will report that the IU passed its reopening plan last evening, which includes the special schools as well as the programs run through the Community and Family Services Division. So I would advise anyone who's interested in participating in these programs to review that plan as well. There will be some additional updates to that I expect over the next few weeks because there are just so many programs run through the IU and so many locations. But do check the website at AIU3 to check that plan as well. Any other reports from members?
Ms. Glasser, you have to unmute yourself. So I just muted everyone again.
Thank you. As we've already had public comment, I believe we can move to adjournment, Mr. Harris.
Okay, 2.1, we see.
I think we took these names. She's on the call. Did you see that?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Seligson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Graves. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you all. Appreciate your time this evening. Thank you all to the public who participated as well. We appreciate you being here, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.